Breaking news. Bitcoin just rocketed past 121,000 today. Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy's Bitcoin holdings hit 77 billion, and President Trump is considering giving taxpayers $1,000 to $2,000 stimulus checks funded by tariff revenues. What does this mean for your money, the economy, and Bitcoin's future? Well, stay locked in. We're breaking it all down right here, right now. What's up, family? It's Coach Massey, and you're locked into the Daily Hodl. If you want the latest Bitcoin and financial news delivered fast and clear, you're in the right place. Before we dive in, though, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, if you're new, and share this video with anyone who loves Bitcoin news. Let's go. Bitcoin is absolutely on fire today, surging to an eye-popping $121,000. But this isn't just a number on a chart. It represents billions of dollars flowing into the Bitcoin network from investors, institutions, and guess what? Global traders. So why is Bitcoin ripping like this right now? One, government shutdowns. I told you they're bullish for Bitcoin. And then there's several other factors, such as institutional adoption, that's just exploding like crazy. Major funds, ETFs, corporate Bitcoin purchases are flooding into the market, bringing unprecedented liquidity. Companies like MicroStrategy and other institutional players are continuing to stack Bitcoin like IBIT, reinforcing confidence that this is a legitimate long-term asset class. And investors are hunting for a hedge against uncertainty, especially with the government shutdown. With inflation still sticky, political volatility, and traditional markets facing turbulence, Bitcoin's decentralized nature makes it a go-to hedge. People are turning to Bitcoin as digital gold that operates outside the control of governments and central banks. You see, Bitcoin operates 24/7 globally, unlike stocks, bonds, or other traditional assets. Bitcoin never pauses. It reacts instantly to breaking news, global events, and economic shifts. You see, this constant availability gives traders and investors a unique edge and creates opportunities even traditional markets are frozen or volatile. You see, the macroeconomic backdrop is fueling demand. Government stimulus, rising debt, and monetary policy uncertainty, well, they're all driving this narrative of scarce, decentralized assets like Bitcoin are essential for wealth preservation, right? So the surge is a clear reminder. Bitcoin is not just digital gold, it is an independent global financial system thriving during periods of market volatility and uncertainty. Chaos. See, risk happens fast. It's scarcity. It's transparent. In modern finance, they're starting to adapt to this rally, especially. And today, 121,000, I think that proves it. You see, Michael Saylor also talks about, for the very first time, he tweeted since 2020, using his reputation and influence to push both MicroStrategy and the broader market towards digital assets. This strategy isn't just about stacking Bitcoin quietly. He's been on the record in interviews and at conferences, encouraging companies and investors to take Bitcoin seriously as a treasury asset. And today, MicroStrategy's Bitcoin holdings hit an all-time high of $77.4 billion at closing, proving that his bold public conviction is paying off massively. This isn't luck. It's a calculated, high-stakes strategy where Saylor's personal and corporate reputation was on the line. While people laughed at him and laughed at me or you because you buy Bitcoin, well, we're starting to laugh back. You see, the impact goes beyond MicroStrategy, institutional investors, hedge funds, major corporations, all of those watching closely. But Saylor's public advocacy legitimizes Bitcoin as a corporate strategy, showing that it's not just retail investors or tech enthusiasts. It's a serious tool for wealth preservation. Balance sheet optimization and hedging against inflation are very important in this field of Bitcoin. You see, every time Bitcoin hits a new high, it's reinforcing Saylor's narrative. Bold, transparent adoption can move markets and reshape corporate behavior. He's not just buying Bitcoin, he's building a movement. And that world is taking over, and they're taking notice from every country. In addition, President Trump is reportedly considering sending that 1,000 to 2,000 stimulus checks to taxpayers, funded by tariff revenues. On the surface, that may sound like a helpful boost of cash to Americans. But let's break down the real economic impact. You see, when the government injects more cash into the system, it increases overall liquidity. We've seen this movie before. More money chasing the same amount of goods and services can lead to higher inflation, which erodes the purchasing power of the US dollar. You wonder why houses are so expensive. That's supply and demand as well. In other words, while people may have more cash in hand, that cash buys less over time as prices continue to rise, and it just goes up, trickle up effect to people like the richest man in the world, Elon Musk. You see, Bitcoin, sure, 20 million coins, fixed asset, immune to a lot of craziness of the world in printing and monetary nonsense and expansion from the Fed. Well, Bitcoin, well, it's becoming more attractive every single day, especially with its global adoptions and banks and so on. The cause and effect is clear. Stimulus increases liquidity, which leads to higher inflation risk, which leads to Bitcoin gains, which are scarce, decentralized assets. So this dynamic is why smart investors and institutions like yourself are buying Bitcoin during periods of government spending and monetary uncertainty. Let me put it simply. While stimulus checks may temporarily support the economy, they also highlight the vulnerabilities of fiat currency. This isn't a political thing. It's just a fact about money. And why Bitcoin's fixed decentralized structure? Well, it's becoming essential for wealth protection, especially while M2 is exploding. So let's connect the dots. I want to tell you what it means as investors in this financial landscape. Bitcoin surging past 121, even with some retracement, demonstrates that it's unmatched resilience, especially in a global 24-hour trading power that can't be stopped. It's different than stocks, bonds, and real estate. It's incredible. And then you have Michael Saylor's Bitcoin strategy proving that long-term conviction in digital assets like Bitcoin leads to massive corporate wealth. I mean, almost $80 billion? That's incredible. You see, Bitcoin is not just for retail investors. It's becoming a cornerstone of corporate treasury management. It's a big deal. And then you have President Trump's stimulus proposal, creating liquidity and really raising M2. I mean, things are about to boost. It seems like it at least. And the demand for all these assets and the inflation hedges like Bitcoin, well, I think the answer is obvious to you and me. So if it's appealing to you, this is the place to really think about it and learn and grow. Bottom line, Bitcoin is just not just another investment. It's a global, decentralized financial head, independent of politics, central banks, or government monetary policy. It's scarcity, right? And that's what you need to understand. In a world of uncertainty, you want something, or you know your money's going to be worth something at the end because they can't print more of it. So remember, this channel is for educational purposes only. It's not financial advice. Always do your own research before making any investment decisions with your money. But I am going to give you the most up-to-date news every day. So here's my question to you, and I want the answers in the comments. Do you think Bitcoin will hold above 121,000 this full week, or are we due for a pullback, some retracement? What do you think about Trump's proposed stimulus checks? Will they boost markets or just weaken the dollar further? Comment below. And don't forget, please like, hit the subscribe button more than anything, and share this with anybody who's interested in learning about Bitcoin. Well, that's your Daily Hodl. Stay sharp, stay disciplined, and as always, Lead.Pray.Hodl. I'll see you in the next one.